Hello, warm welcome everyone. This first session of the 1 week retreat, and it's a pleasure to welcome you. So this session is being recorded, so you'll get the invitation to stay on the call from Zoom. I would also like to start by saying this retreat is in English, but we will have live interpretation. So we're going to start with a short language announcement for Hindi, Romanian, and Spanish.
Para recibir traducción desde Windows y Mac en los iconos de control de la reunión, hacemos clic en Interpretación, clic en Español y opcional para escuchar solo el español, clic en Silenciar audio original. De Android y iOS, en los tres puntitos hacemos clic en Interpretación de idiomas, clic en Español y opcional tocamos el interruptor para silenciar el audio original y hacemos clic en Finalizado.
Pentru traducere, dacă sunteți pe calculator sau pe laptop, apăsați simbolul de glob și selectați limba română. Dacă sunteți pe telefon sau pe tabletă, apăsați cele 3 puncte, selectați Language Interpretation, limba română și încheiați cu Done. Dacă doriți să auziți doar traducerea în limba română, bifați butonul Mute Original Sound. Mulțumesc!
भाषा अनुवाद सुनने के लिए विंडोज़ और मैकिन्टोश आपकी मीटिंग कंट्रोल में पृथ्वी यानी कि ग्लोब्स के साइन पर क्लिक करें। हिंदी पर क्लिक करें। सिर्फ हिंदी सुनने के लिए म्यूट ओरिजिनल ऑडियो पर क्लिक करें। एंड्रॉयड और आईओएस के लिए मीटिंग कंट्रोल में मोर पर क्लिक करें, लैंग्वेज इंटरप्रिटेशन पर क्लिक करें, हिंदी पर टैप करें, डन पर क्लिक करें।
Nice to get flavors from the official announcement. So warm welcome. And if you are new to Zoom, just need to hover your mouse on the screen or tap your screen and you should see the option for the chat. And we really welcome your questions on this retreat, your comments, your realizations. And just to orientate you about the session, 2-hour session, after about an hour, we will have room discussions, which are optional, but a lovely chance to meet others on the call and meet and share realizations. And we'll be sharing the recordings of this on a G drive, and the link will be in the chat. If you want to type where you're connecting from today, that would be lovely to see how which countries are here or which places in the UK. So I just want to share a bit about the organization, the institution of Brahma Kumaris, which were founded in 1936 in northern India, and there are centers in almost all countries of the world. And I came across, in fact, in Cambodia, this institution. And the teachers regard themselves as students also, and learning insights into human psychology and truth to achieve a very good quality of inner and outer life. And I'm going to hand over shortly to our facilitator, main facilitator is Dr. Prashant Kakade. His background is medical and has been associated with Brahma Kumaris for more than 30 years. So great to hear where you're from. We have from Australia, I think it's a good evening, and UK, USA, early morning. So it's incredible. And Kenya, Bury St Edmunds, Lancashire. So very nice. And I look forward to this opportunity for reviving higher consciousness. So warm welcome and handing over to Prashant.
Thank you, Sarah, and hello and good morning. Very welcome to this 7-day gathering together, and a great opportunity for us collectively to explore these ideas, and more important, to come into the experience. And the whole game, for us, it is extraordinary thing. It is like in the perspective of an ant and a perspective of an eagle. There is a big difference. It is almost like that. You are shifting from one perspective to another perspective. And we may have to understand that we have the option to shift perspective. It may be as easy as that. You are just coming out of the ant world and seeing in a different way. But also there is a difficult part there. And difficult part is we have created all kinds of bondages in that ant world. And just to come out of it, and it is easy, but you have to undo some of the bondages. Even see the way one is deceived in that ant world. It is a nice analogy, but that will give us some orientation as we are seeing this different aspect, different subjects. Of course, we'll be going into the details of the ant worlds, and the aim is not to make our life comfortable there, but aim is how to become free. So we will be using the sketches. I will be using the board, and you will see on your device the board that emerges. You can adjust and create a space for it. And we are going to go through some basic ideas, and the retreat of this kind is meant for the new ones, and then we have advanced retreats subsequently. But orientation, it is very useful for us, basic orientation. Some simple reminders also. So we often show this ant world. Let us see that ant world in some detail. And so we are going to spend our life at this physical level, physical world, and we need to see this world, little orientation at least. And that might help us understand if there are any absurdities, if there are any blind spots. If I am going to some city, this has been my experience, but it must be your experience also. If you spend even 1 minute looking at a map, where you are going and which road and which destination, just spend 1 minute, and it might save you sometimes 1 hour. If you don't see the map, you can be missing some simple shortcuts and you waste time. So here we are seeing the map of our world, and we are seeing the big map. If I'm seeing the world itself, this whole physical world, we are seeing the map, then this physical world will appear small, and we use this image to represent the entire physical world. And this world, in the image of a box, it comes with upfront labels. And what are the labels? One label is, it is changing. It is changing in front of you. Change cannot be stopped. Everything at a micro level and macro level, everything is changing. So motion, movement, change is a law. At a micro level means if you look at the electrons and subatomic particles, they are moving at a big speed. If you look at the planets, they are moving. If you see this gathering, Prashant is moving, you are moving, this planet is moving through space. So change. With change comes beginning and end to everything. It is quite extraordinary to realize that everything that you are seeing in front of you is going to end one day. Nothing is permanent. When I say everything, including this body, this device, computer, everything has an end. It is all going to go. People and houses and the trees, everything that you see. And another important label there, it is unpredictable. It is good to know this, because something that is so blatant and so obvious, if we ignore, we can put ourselves in trouble. For example, when airlines, it says its flights are unpredictable, timings are unpredictable. It may be in small print, but if you ignore that and the important appointment, you book the flight, then you can be in trouble. But because it is telling you upfront that it is unpredictable. No wrong, no, nothing, no problem. It is unpredictable as long as you know that is the way it is and you deal with it the right way. If you are also very flexible, then it is great. But if you want to be on right time, you will be deceived. So here, this world is like this, no problem, as long as I deal with it the right way. Now, at a practical level, what happens? We may not be dealing with it the right way. We approach it with blindness, with innocence. And that's why the trouble. As an example, so here is a cloud. Cloud is from the same word, unpredictable world. And it is there. And you know in 5 minutes it is going to disappear. If someone creates, say a man here, just in his belief, he starts to create expectations and desire that that cloud should not change its shape, color. He's creating a bondage. We use the word bondages for this. Just creates a desire that cloud should not change color. It's such beautiful colors. So the moment he creates a desire, as if he gets trapped in it, because this cloud is unpredictable and definitely going to go. He believes that that is my cloud. Whatever reason, that cloud is right above my garden, so it is my cloud. In different ways, we create bondages. Worth remembering this word, bondage. And the moment you create a bondage, now you are deceived. You are creating a bondage that is not in your control. And as these things change and go, you are taking sorrow. Take sorrow for nothing is not very clever. It is a waste of your time and life sometimes. So here is an example. This man creates bondages with a cloud, unpredictable cloud. Let us come to our world here. Do we create bondages in this unpredictable box. And the answer is a big yes. And we definitely have. What would you say? Let us hear from you. Any of you got any bondages in this world? Unpredictable world? You can type your answers, and lots of encouragement for you to interact.
One comment is yes, there are. And one is maybe from work, family relationships in general. Yeah, children.
Yes, very good. Family relations. We have created that culture where we think my, and everyone together say this is my. We are questioning this. Can we use the word my to anything there when I can't own and it is not going to be with me? So if I'm in a gathering and I'm told I am there just for 5 minutes, can anyone be mine there? They may all be loving and I love them all, but can they be mine? In the same way here, we are seeing that this world is changing and there is a hand. I love them, everyone, but can anyone be mine? Sure, at present our culture is such that we use the word my, and we have ideas of preferences and desires and expectations. And as a result, we are fooled into creating a bondage and creating bondages with that world that is unpredictable. In fact, at present, we are busy creating more bondages. We are going in this direction. More, I want more. They might even think of it as success. And one who is deceived more, he will only suffer more. And it is a more degradation and lower quality of life. So as we are deceived, as we get trapped more, we lower the quality of our life. And it is just because I have not read the small print. Just like if I am buying a flight and a ticket, I don't see that it is coming with a label, unpredictable. So here, the world comes with a label, unpredictable. It is end. So in such a world, I am safe if I was just not to be creating bondages. That's all. Nothing wrong in being with people and buying the ticket also, nothing wrong, as long as there is no bondage. And what does that mean? You are involved at the same time free. We call it the state of detached involvement. It's a nice expression to remember. So we don't want to run away from this world, or for that matter, I don't want to run away from the cloud, but I want to remain free. That is all. So let us take the example of the cloud, and the person is free. One cloud is there. He says, oh, nice cloud, it is gone. Okay, clear sky is nice. And another cloud, that is also nice. And another time, because there are stars, and he enjoys life. He finds every moment is nice. One who creates bondage with the first cloud that he has seen, he can't even enjoy that cloud because he's worrying it is going to go. And he suffers. So creating bondage is not extremely clever act. It just lowers the quality of our life. And we are saying we have the option to remain free. Same with this world. If we somehow come in this space of detached involvement, where you are involved, at the same time, you are not creating bondages. Understand some of the words we are using. We are using them very, just remember this word, bondage. We create a bondage and we want to be free from bondage. And we don't want to, this English word, detached, it may create a slight different meaning, but we are really emphasizing freedom. Yeah, as we said, involvement is there, but remaining free internally. Another time we use the word observer for that, just to make it easy. Just come in that space of the observer. Observer implied in the way we are using. You are involved, but you are not creating bondages. So big question for us. Is it possible? Is it realistic to be in this world? Maybe a question to you. You are asked, you have to be involved, so you are in the city, you are with people, you are in the job and money and food and what else? Your cat, dog, you are in this world, but zero bondage. Is it possible? Who thinks it is possible? You can raise your hands. To be in this world, to be involved with everything, involved with, as we said, with the whole, your job and money. You are earning money. You want to earn more also. And at the same time, you got no bondage.
So we had a thumbs up and a hand raised and some notes that yes, but difficult to achieve.
Sure. Who feels it is impossible to be in this world and you can say impossible.
So now who thinks it's impossible? All right.
Yes.
Or if you're not sure how to raise your hand in Zoom, you can always type. Notes are coming, almost impossible, very difficult, but possible if consciously attempted. And it's possible, but but so difficult. Yeah.
Sure. We take a small example. Let us say you are visiting a museum. It can be any place, but let us say here is a museum with a very special shape. Architect is very clever here. And you are going to be there for 1 hour. So you go there, spend 1 hour, involved with many wonderful things there, and you come out. During that 1 hour, you are involved. You sit there, you meet people, nice people, and when you come out, you're happy to go in, happy to come out. You have not created a single bondage. You don't feel you have lost anything after 1 hour. How did you manage it? You are involved. You are touching things. You are sitting on things there. You are using things. At the same time, you are having 100% bondage. You are involved, at the same time detached. How did you manage? Just one thing that helped you here, and that is you were aware of the exit.
And also a comment, you know things don't belong to you and you're only there for an hour.
Yes, yes, very good. And then all of that, because there is an exit, it is very clear to you the reality of your temporary association. You saw yourself as a guest. At most, you are a trustee. During that time, someone might tell you to look after some golden box there in the museum. You're quite happy to look after it for 5 minutes, help your friend, But during those 5 minutes, you don't think this is my gold. You are just a trustee. It didn't prevent you from involving. You were very much involved. You were dealing with everything there. But then you are aware of the exit. You knew the bigger map. That's all that has happened. You saw the bigger map. And that prevented you from being deceived. We use a dotted line, in a dotted green line. This dotted green line represents ignorance, line of ignorance. If you cross that line, then you are deceived. If you go in the museum, it is possible that some child may be with you and he is given this golden box for 5 minutes. He might start to cry at the time to go, that he has to leave his wonderful things behind. He might start to cry. So it is possible people cross that dotted line. And then you are not seeing the bigger map. You are not seeing clearly that you've got to exit. And you start believing something there is mine, create a bondage. Once a person has created a bondage, then sorrow can come. Bondage means you are trapped. You are trapped in some prisoners. They are trapped. Some insects get caught in the spider's web. So all these things just lead to sorrow. Now let us come in our wonderful world here. So here is our physical world, in an extraordinary big world. In the question, are we guests here? That's a big question, important question. Are we guests? What do you think?
Yes. The universal answer from everyone here. We have to come, we have an entrance and exit, but we tend to get attached and lost.
Yeah. So this is something we know, we agree, but we might need a reminder. So the very obvious observation we can make is that not one atom from here, from this world, you can take with you. You can't take one atom from here with you. What a thing. You go, you can't take anyone with you and anything with you, not one atom. So which means you are really a trustee. That's all. If you believe, for whatever reason, you might have created things here, you might have earned things, you built things, and the government says this is all yours. For whatever reason, you start using the word my here, or you start to create desires or expectations, you are crossing the line. The nature of this world is like this. It says, come and observe this, have a great time, but don't cross the line. Not one atom belongs to you. And at a very practical level, our journey is like this. Just as we are passing through some theme park, nice, you can be, but don't get into bondage. You have an exit. And any bondage that is created definitely will end up in sorrow. If someone has not even seen the bondages, how will he become free? People sometimes think just because someone dies, he has become free. No, things lead to sorrow, unnecessarily. They give an example, at one place, some family came visiting another house, and this little boy, let us use the name John. I don't want to, the children have become adults now. This boy, John, the host family brought out some toys for the children to play. And John got attached to the toy. So next thing I see, he's crying, lying on the floor, and his mother is trying to console him. So I asked, what happened? Why is he crying? And mother said, he's crying because he can't take this toy home. That's why he's crying. So he liked this toy. He got attached to the toy. And then he cried and cried and cried. And then they went home. He went home crying. Can you see this absurdity? He did not play with the toy. Some other children may cry when it is time to go home. They might cry. Here he started crying even before he played with the toy. With the cleverness. Human beings are clever. So I am not going to take the toy home. That itself was enough. So same thing happens here. Human beings are clever and things are right in front of them, but they are crying today. And these bondages make us cry. So we have this option to be free from bondages. Come in this attitude of a guest. We use the word invisible traveler. One who is intelligent, spiritually intelligent, he will not create bondages of any kind. Even animals and birds, those who are clever animals, they won't get trapped. Those who are not very clever, then others can catch them. So also here, one who is intelligent, spiritually intelligent, he will not get deceived. We use the word yogi. Yogi is like a one who is spiritually awake. He sees himself as an invisible traveler. And what does that mean? He is aware that not one atom from this world can belong to him. Nothing in this box can belong to him. Nothing in that box can define him. If it doesn't even belong to him, how can anything there define him? He's quite happy to see all the glitter and gold there, but nothing there defines him. That's why he sees himself as a traveler, and that too invisible traveler. He's passing through this amazing world of matter and wonderful people and glitter. Nice, but thank you. And he is not deceived. He doesn't define himself based on anything there. Invisible traveler is the invisible guest. He is passing through that great world. He enjoys everything, enjoys the journey, but he has not crossed the line of deception, line of ignorance. You want to say anything? Add anything?
So far, one comment is that surely we need the things in this world to fulfill our role. So is it not worth putting effort into acquiring and retaining these resources, but doing it without attachment, knowing that the role is temporary, and saying that it is a fine line that needs a lot of education and effort. Do you have any comments on that?
Yeah, of course. First thing for us is to experience more and more of that state out of confusion. When we cross the line, it is childish confusion, and then deception, bondage, sorrow, all that comes. So let us first come in this direction where you are moving up the spiral. Whole world is going in a different direction. They are going down the spiral, creating more and more bondages here. So every minute you are just experiencing the invisible traveler perspective. Experiencing, not in knowledge many people have, that we are guests. This is not a new thing. There are many poets saying this. But experience that not one atom here belongs, and there is the invisible traveler here. And he has a journey, he's different. Get into the experience. And during that minute, you are up the spiral. And that is the fun. Because every minute, second, you are going in that direction, there will only be more happiness. Just as we are going down the spiral, it brings heaviness and it brings bondages and insecurities, because you are getting trapped into unpredictable world. Here you become free from that world. Every minute you are playing with it. It's a process of happiness. But as you are becoming more clear, you are useful to yourself. You are useful to others. One who is not deceived is immensely useful to others. One who is himself confused, he might have some ideas of great progress. He is so dedicated and he has got a great ambition. But starting position is confusion. So what is the great benefit? At the end, he might regret for wasting his time. So first thing for us is, let us get our apparatus right, our intellect, our discrimination, seeing things clearly. And definitely worth putting effort in that. As was said, we are giving this huge contrast, eagle and the ant. So to come out of this present bondage, and the possibilities are enormous, big. And With that big scale and game, we are saying, okay, we need a different apparatus here. And ordinarily, not many people will say there is a confusion, there is childishness. They will not say that. But on the scale, what we are seeing on this, we have gone into collective deception. And that's why we have to make effort. The change will happen at the individual level. I cannot bring the change for others. Each one has to create those minutes where you are bringing in this clarity. I might encourage you, to draw a sketch that you see in front of you. This wonderful sketch. Might encourage you to take a photograph of this sketch and keep it in your main room, so that each time you look at this sketch, it helps you understand your journey and truth. Every little bit helps, every little insight, little realization, a little more clarity, glimpses. You get a glimpse of this, glimpse of the freedom. These are all precious things. They all take us up the spiral. You want to add anything? Say anything? I like these questions. These are the questions from others also.
Thank you for that. Any comments on the answer? Feel free to put in the chat. A question: how does this invisible traveler respond to day-to-day irritations, which may come from family or work? For example, people telling you to do things you don't want to do, amongst other things.
Yes, of course. Now, even at your work, you might notice situation that irritates one person, another person is very relaxed about it. It doesn't annoy him. He is taking it very differently. And someone else may be seeing it as a joke, or right now we are laughing at this thing. Same thing happens in this life. As you bring about the change, what used to bother you before, you will find it doesn't bother you anymore, because you are seeing from another level. It personally doesn't disturb you, and the perspective is different. Starting position is this: internally you are not disturbed, and when you are not disturbed, you are in control. It annoys you, or it makes you, frightened, or it means you are in bondage. That's why outer situations bother you, and then you are not in control. When these big emotions are taking over, and when you are not in control, you might say something, do something for which you might regret afterwards. When at a deep level, genuine level, you are not disturbed, then it means you are in control. You are free. And then you can see what is happening, why it is happening. You are able to step back and understand what is going on. And you might intervene, you might say something or do something, what is appropriate. But certainly you will not regret afterwards. When you are in control, it's just sometimes just one word can have results. When you are not in control, you say 10 words, which are all unnecessary. It is just an explosion.
It's very helpful. And just one comment, having no attachment to anything just seems like a bit of a cold way to live. So I know you
Sure.
tried to clarify earlier.
Yeah, sure. And then, like, let us take the example of your town. Who enjoys your town more, local people or tourists? Tourists enjoy more. That's why they are going around with cameras. They think everything is worth it. Local people don't even notice the same thing. So tourists are certainly not cold. They are enjoying it, but they are enjoying it another level, different way. They are enjoying it. For them, every moment is wonder and absolutely beautiful. But what is important for us is not attachment or no attachment. We are not questioning that. We are questioning, am I operating in confusion or in clarity? That's what we are questioning. If truth is that I am a guest and I start creating attachments for whatever good reason, then I'm deceived. It is confusion. And there are penalties coming from confusion. So first is for us to establish, am I a guest here or not? That's the first thing to find out. And if I'm a guest, then I might as well be the guest, live as a guest. Guest cannot create bondages. He might create bondages to other places where he owns things and where he belongs. Same here, in the larger map, we will see in our other sessions. This invisible traveler, he is not creating bondages here, but he might be very aware of things that genuinely belong to him. And that is different. That we'll find out when we see the world beyond the anthill. But in this anthill, we don't need to create any bondages. It will be nice to hear more from you. Also, another factor to know, when we create bondages and when we suffer, because suffering comes only because of the bondage. Nice to know, 100% of sorrows are just because we are deceived. Literally means if you were out of this deception, there will literally be no sorrow. Big statement, worth checking. But it tells us that when we are suffering, we might think we are loving, we are creating attachment and we are loving, but these attachments make us more selfish. Anyone who suffers, he is not thinking about others at that time. He thinks of his own my little happiness, why others are not making me feel good. That is his priority. One who is not in bondage, he actually loves more. It will be nice to hear from you. These are, as we said, these are questions from others also. Useful for us to note these details at that level. Then we truly understand, yes, we really need to come out of this.
Yes, very helpful. And one question, are there good strategies to still do our duties we are assigned to in this physical world?
Duty. Sure.
Do our duties where without this escaping, because maybe a misunderstanding of spirituality is it could be under the pretext of invisible traveler, but it's actually maybe escaping, but on the other extreme, getting fixated, stuck.
Yeah, escape is not an appropriate word there, but underline the word clarity. That we want to be clear, we want to not be deceived. That is the more important. But how to do the duty? Let us say there is a bank manager, but then let us take the example of the chancellor of exchequer of this country. These people deal with lots of things, billions, and they are doing the duty absolutely well. They're thinking how to organize this huge, thing that is going on. Movements of the world, different currents, and they are taking that full responsibility for it. At the same time, they know that they don't own one penny there. They're involved, they take responsibility as a trustee. So if they can do that with such a big thing, we can do it with our little world and responsibilities.
Something to reflect on, yes. Is our name a bondage as well? Maybe it's going to come later in the retreat, but that's a question that came.
Why do we use the word bondage? Is that the question?
Is our name also a bondage? Like
name? Oh, sure. Anything can be the bondage. Anything within that box, we can create a bondage. The invisible traveler is not saying, please praise this name, you should like certain name. Then it is a bondage. If someone criticizes that name and if I take sorrow, it means there is a bondage. A traveler is an observer of everything, dealing with things, a nice thing, wonderful, and someone's name is something else, great name. But he is not deceived, he's not trapped into anything. He knows the bigger map. And as a result, it helps. I'll just add one more aspect there. When we cross the line, into this world, unpredictable world, our inner life is of constant insecurity, unfortunately. Life is insecure. And when we are insecure, that becomes so important for you to address that insecurity. So there is an energy of desperation. You are desperate to feel secure. And when this is there, desperation, and you don't get what you want, then there is anger. You don't know whether you will get what you want. We call it stress. You are not getting what you want, but you can't blame anyone. It causes sadness. You don't get what you want. Someone else gets it. You will find yourself in envy. You will see the whole spectrum of human unpleasant, different emotions. Their origin is coming from here. When the same person who is above the line, he has not gone into the world of bondages. He's very much in this world, he's involved, but not into bondages. He feels secure. You go into that museum, nothing there can make you insecure. They might tell people they have to leave in 5 minutes, there is some emergency. No problem. You have not created any bondage. You got nothing to lose. Someone likes things, someone doesn't like, you are observer. Same in this world. He is deeply secure. And when you're secure, it just brings out the best. You get other emotions. All these unpleasant, sorrowful emotions, they stop. There's no reason for them. And now you find there is peace, true peace. It is not just temporary sort of use, escape or suppress. We are not meaning that. Here, inside out, not conditional upon what is happening in that world or what others do, what others say, not conditional. Here, the person feels secure because of his freedom. Only a secure person experiences happiness. Only a secure person can love. We'll expand on this, but know that security brings out the best in you. Only a secure person experiences contentment. All these emotional factors of stability leads to better concentration. You can focus where you want to, because mind is not going into 10 other things. When there is security, there is more clarity, and such a person is surprisingly more creative. It is bound to be. When there is concentration, clarity, and emotional richness, he is also rich in the head. Rich in heart, rich in head. Same person. When he crosses the line, he becomes poorer in the heart and poorer in the head. As he goes up the spiral, he will continue to discover richness that exists in him. Just he's getting in touch with it. You want to add anything?
One question was, what about the suffering caused by us worrying that others are doing the wrong thing?
Yes, what happens, we will see it in more detail. We create bondages with other people. There are many people who are doing wrong things on this planet. We don't take sorrow. Many presidents, they might be doing wrong things, and many neighbors, they are doing wrong thing. It doesn't disturb you. But one person doing sometimes slightest wrong thing, it disturbs you a lot more. It is because another bondage with that person. As we said, even in the best interest of others, to help others, we have to be in the higher space. Then you are able to be truly be able to help others. There are limitations. As we said, this world is, many people are doing wrong things. I might not be able to change everyone. But even if you want to change, first we need to help ourselves. By crossing the line, I am also doing the wrong thing. So let me stop doing the wrong thing.
interesting how we create bondages in different ways. Something to reflect on. How do we deal with fear of maybe being used or taken advantage of?
Yes, all kinds. As we said, once you have crossed the line, then there are fears for all kinds of different reasons. Answer is the same. Answer is we have to get in the right position first ourselves, and then we start the process. Right from today, creating this 1 minute. This is like such a simple thing, but extremely useful thing. You are going in the right direction. That is what has happened. And as you start doing this, you will see the contrast. Within yourselves, you will see the contrast. And in that contrast, you will also observe your own particular bondage. We all have got different kinds of bondages. No, someone else cannot help us actually in this. But once you see the absurdity of this bondage, what am I doing? Just like this boy I was giving the example. He's crying because he can't take the toy home. So he's not playing with the toy. Maybe a few months later, in a similar situation, he might be acting very differently. But there are enough toys at home, and why do I need to cry? He might be seeing things differently. The intellect has changed and understanding is different. Same thing here. We start the process and play with it for minutes, and then you can see the absurdity. What am I doing? This temporary thing here, and why am I creating bondage like this little children? You can also see which bondage it is that creates those fear feelings. Sometimes they are subtle, they are not like getting attached to, toy. It is not as straightforward, some image of ourselves, But let us remove the gross first. As we said, it's a process of happiness. You create 1 minute, it is a process into freedom.
That's nice. A process of happiness, definitely becoming more and more free. So if we have any uneasy feeling, it's a sign that we are in some kind of bondage. Is that right?
100%, yes. 100% of our sorrows are connected with this box. 100% of our desperations and desires are connected with this. 100% of our ego are connected with this. 100%, not 99. 100% of our vices are connected with this box. If we get a wrong attitude there, you get all of it. You just need to have the right attitude, that's all. And you can be free from all of this. And all of these just lower the quality of the life. If you do not like anything in other people, it is this, their sorrows and their ego and their vices and their desires. This is what we do not like in other people. They say someone is greedy in us. So as you become free from this, you are happy with yourself to start with. We have our own company. So you start enjoying your own company as you become free.
Is it possible to have no sorrow even without this understanding and clarity? And if so, why the student is asking why they are not happy, even though there isn't actually any sorrow in their life?
There are no situations in life, but still people may be unhappy. What happens is, once you cross the line, it is a confusion. And then anything, when someone is confused, he can feel anything, he can do something, you just don't know. Like this example of the boy I gave you. He got a toy in front of him. He got many toys at home, and parents would bring anything for him, what he wants, but he's crying. So who can stop this? And he may be crying for some petty thing. And that is what used to happen. Petty things, some broken, some pen and little paper. They can be crying for no reason. The reason is confusion.
Okay, that's helpful. Any comments about those who may be struggling with mental illness, as it's challenging enough for those with good mental health to see the wood for the trees? Is there any possibility for those with psychological disorders to achieve freedom from bondage?
It is possible for everyone. In fact, everyone will have to come out of this bondage, and it is the starting position of everyone. We all start clean, and at some point we have gone down the spiral. We learn either through wisdom or through pain. So what we are doing right now in understanding things, and we know that we can put into practice certain things. And as we are doing this, then there is no reason to learn hard way. And more we put it into practice, just we, in a indirect way, make it easy for others to change, to bring about change without pain. Otherwise, pain is another factor that will force people to drop the bondages.
Feels like sometimes limitations at one level can be helpful in another way. So sometimes it can be more clear for those with limitations at the physical level. Would you say it's part of our duty to have like non-judgment or empathy for anyone experiencing pain and suffering?
We need to have love and empathy towards everyone for crossing the line. And that is the main reason. There may be suffering or no suffering today, but they may be in a party, but there is a deception. It appears there is a happiness, but it is in deception. But most important is at this point, the emphasis is we coming out of, there are things on our plate. We have to first address that. When we are in that right space, then what you see, what you feel has far more relevance and also results.
Okay, thank you. Just the example earlier you mentioned about the museum and also about clouds, and we are observers, it's clear. In this life, however, we are playing many different roles and involved in everything. If we don't realize this line, we may not realize it until and unless we cross it. I think it was just a sort of a comment, but if you have anything you'd like to add.
Yeah, all along to see the perspective of the invisible traveler. That the invisible traveler is seeing such a big thing, like museum and all was an example. And here we are seeing this whole world is like another museum. And who is passing through this museum? The invisible traveler. So we have to use a different intellect to grapple with this. And it is fun, to see it and to see the perspective of the invisible traveler. Get a feel of it.
And why invisible?
Yes, because we argued that whatever that is visible, he can't own anything from that visible world. And he's all going to be separated from him. And if he can't even own it, he can't own one atom from that visible world, then nothing from that visible world can define him. He can experience it, he can travel through it, but nothing there can define him. That's why the yogi, one who is intelligent, he sees himself as an invisible traveler, passing through this visible world. Let me know if it is if you are understanding clear, if you want me to expand.
Very nice. Yes. At this point, it may be good to create time for discussion. Yes, comment was thank you for the last answer. And any other questions we can maybe take after this short break. Do you have a question you'd like to suggest would be good for reflection in this discussion?
Just to ask if anyone has created any bondages. Just check if anyone has crossed a line. Or do you cross lines sometimes? Do you know anyone who crosses the line?
Might be a short discussion. Anything maybe. What is your method to come on the right side of the line, or what would be
how it presents, how does it present the bondages?
Okay, very nice. Yes, comment was on a daily basis, but maybe after some discussion we can explore this a bit further. So thank you. And for those who are new to some of the sessions, what we are doing now is going into small groups of around 8, and language groups also separated. So there's Spanish, Romanian, and Hindi. And if you'd like to create time just to share your reflections, answering the question and allowing everyone to have a chance to share. If you are been with us before, you might like to help coordinate that a little, and we'll meet back. If you have cameras on, it's a really nice way to meet. It's not recorded or anything. So we hope you enjoy this opportunity, and we'll meet back in 10-15 minutes to continue with practice and discussion. So enjoy and see you shortly. Very warm welcome back. I hope you can, yes, we're back. It's great to meet each other, and I hope that it was useful. But if it came up with, there were more questions that came up, feel free to share them. And we want to build in a logical way, logical sequence. So we looked at being the guest. And so we'd just like to create a pause for maybe capturing the essence, what was really important for you, just for a few moments, and then we'll continue. So just a short meditation period. Thank you. We just had a minute. I find it helpful as well to consolidate and to deepen the experience of some of the ideas. So we had a very interesting, clear overview, which helped to see that there are mindsets that option to come from a perspective of the security, the observer, the impartial, the invisible traveler view, and then the perspective of insecurity, which is unfortunately in that spiral of attachment. But the fact that there is a choice is a very excellent option to nurture. So I'm going to pan back to Prashant, and there are a couple of further questions, and maybe we'll have some time for practice.
Thank you, and hope you enjoyed the just opportunity to change and meet others, and we learn in a group dynamic sometimes, as much as any other gatherings. Sometimes more. We learn in group dynamics. So for the next few minutes, let us come in the experience. Just our aim is just to experience this, what it means to be a guest. And wherever we are, imagine you are in some office, someone's place. You know you're a guest there. Guest in someone's house. You know you don't own anything in that house. And with that also the feeling comes, you don't lose anything. You don't own anyone else in that place. You know you don't lose anyone. Silently there is a feeling of being secure, but nothing to lose. There's a feeling of lightness of a guest. And you also experience the freedom of a guest. You're free, you can live when you want. There are no strings and bondages, as we saw. We are reminding the perspective of the invisible traveler. That the invisible traveler is a guest on this planet. What a beautiful perspective. He knows he doesn't own anything on this planet. There are many things involved. He is involved right now with at least the computers and the devices. He knows invisible traveler knows he doesn't own anything. And so he knows he doesn't lose anything. Traveler, he can see the bigger map. He can see his return journey. The invisible traveler doesn't own anyone else. And so he doesn't lose anyone. Ever. The invisible traveler doesn't even own the body. And he is never going to die with the death of the body. The invisible traveler doesn't own a single atom of this world. And what a liberating feeling. You have nothing to lose ever. And when we come in that space, I got nothing to lose, we flip on the other side. And now we find, just like any traveler, he finds, every moment is a gift. He's not attached to anything, but he finds every experience is a gift. Every interaction appears like a gift. Silence is a gift and the sound is a gift. Just like a tourist, they appreciate things. We experience the freedom of a guest. Invisible traveler also experiences the gratitude of a guest and the wonder of a guest and sense of appreciation of a guest. We really try and grasp this perspective of 100% freedom of the invisible traveler. Perspective of bondage is not the only option we have. We are brought up in a certain perspective that is great, but we are seeing a radically different perspective. Perspective where there is zero bondage. That's what we mean by the invisible traveler. If that expression helps us to come in that space, that's great. But we are experiencing the security of the invisible traveler. Freedom. The opposite of bondage is freedom. And with freedom comes lightness and peace and happiness. And he knows no one can harm him. If there are no bondages, he's beyond harm. That's why he has the richness of the heart. heart is big. Regardless of what is going on outside, he finds he is able to love. Thank you. I'm happy to listen to comments or questions.
Thank you. Would you be able to elaborate on how a person can conquer anger using the diagram that you heard earlier?
Yeah, sure. We'll come to the diagram also. We saw that for anger to arise, some factors are necessary, and 100% of the cases, it is like that. First, there has to be some element of insecurity. One feels insecure. Secure person, there is no reason for him to be angry. Along with insecurity, there has to be, with insecurity, desperation will always come. No one likes to feel insecure. So a feeling of desperation to feel secure. And now someone makes him more insecure. So his desperation, desire is not fulfilled. Someone makes it worse. And so there's anger. So what we are seeing here, this insecurity has come because of he creating bondage in the insecure world. If he was like someone is a tourist in your town and people criticize the town, tourist is not getting angry, he's a tourist. But another person who has created a bondage to that town, he will get angry. So here, the insecurity has come because of his creating a bondage. He has gone in that direction. So when we see the perspective of the invisible traveler, we use the word soul consciousness for that. Invisible traveler, that is the expression. When he becomes soul conscious, that is why that upward spiral. Even for 1 minute, he comes in that space. During that time, he's like a tourist. Someone doesn't like the town, okay, bad luck. But I like the town. I do not need to get angry. So someone doesn't like the hat I'm using. Oh, that's okay. But I like you. I won't get angry. But if I have created attachment to my hat, then I will get angry with him and I angry with his wife and I can get into, I may declare a war with him. Does that answer? Feel free to ask if it is not answered.
Sure, we'll find out. And meanwhile, another question. What are some of the methods for coming back to remembering this secure way of being in this world? I mean, actually, maybe you've answered it already. The signal of insecurity, distress shows we've crossed the line, but if you have any other comments.
Yeah. Keeping some of these sketches, they are useful, and reflecting on that. Ordinarily, we are on the wrong side of the line, all the time, constantly. The world is drowning in that pot at the moment. Within this, we have to create minutes and minutes where we are on the right side of the line. So that is like a nice thing. That is the way to check. Ordinarily, we are on the wrong side. To understand what this means, what is that invisible traveler, and what is that perspective of the traveler. He feels independent. He feels free from the whole thing during those minutes. But that creates a habit inside. Every minute we are playing with it, that will change the old habit, old programming. All habits have started somewhere. Good habits or bad habits, they all start somewhere. So we are just introducing here the program. It's seed. It is like a seed. Its end result will be to remove all these false habits, wrong habits.
Okay, thank you very much for that. And any follow-up thoughts, feel free to share. And another question here, sometimes in life, there are things that happen to people which just seem very unfortunate or unfair. So to what extent should we accept this as part of this, the way things are in this world, on this world stage, versus actively trying to seek fairness or equality?
And as we will be seeing, and there are more subjects we will be discussing that will answer these questions. And the question is why unfortunate things happen.
Yes, and when they do, should we be, as life presents challenges, but is it we can still try to elicit the best response in this situation, which may involve seeking fair outcomes?
Yeah. Yeah, we need some other sessions as we understand next few sessions that will help us. Today, just understanding the basics.
Okay. So there aren't any other questions at this stage. I'm not sure if you're needing the board at the moment or.
Okay. And I want to tell a story, and that story helps us understand this our present situation. Just one more help in grasping this. In this story, one man was falling off a cliff. And as he was falling off, he tries to catch hold of a branch tree and says, God, God, help, help. And that was God. God said, I can help you, but you will have to obey me. So this man says, no problem. He will obey, He says, I will obey you the rest of my life. My life is for you. I will do anything for you. But save me now. So God says, I'm very impressed. And you trust me so much. That's extraordinary. So in that case, let go. So he's holding to these branches. He says, let go. So there was long silence. And after the silence, this man says, is there anybody else there? And so there was nobody else there. So he has to listen to God and let go. And when he let go, he discovered he is on the ground. Ground was close by. And now that he has touched the ground, he can go back on those branches. He can do the same thing he was doing before. You can play with the branches. But what had changed? Earlier he was with the branches, and now he's with the branches. What had changed? You want to say? You want to answer? Now he's secure.
Yeah. Fear has disappeared.
Yes. Just that he has touched the ground. Now he's free from fear. He's secure. And as a result, he's playing with the branches. When those branches were his support, his life was in panic. Anytime these branches can break. This is our story. So if I go back to our pad. So what are our branches? So if we see this world here, and there is the traveler. The branches are different supports it takes within this insecure world. They are the branches. It takes supports of people. Someone else will make him secure forever. Position, place, possessions. If you are in some countries, pounds and pasta. So if he is taking support of all of this, subconsciously he is aware that branch is going to break. And the life is one of subconscious insecurity. Panic, that is the life. Superficially he's taking support, but he at the same time knows that all of it is going to go. Subconsciously there is panic. He has the option to touch the ground. And in this case, the ground is discovering security. Seeing the bigger map helps you realize that you are secure to start with. The invisible traveler doesn't need anything to feel secure. We are discovering this. So the moment he discovers his security, now he's still in with the people and possessions in place. But he knows that he doesn't need any of those things. They come and go. As was said before, when you touch that secure space, you are actually appreciating everything. You are appreciating branch. He goes on the branch tree to play with it. So having discovered this peace and freedom, happiness, he doesn't run away from this. He is very happy to come in this world, come in the world of the branches. But now he is in the world of branches with the energy of play. He is there to play with the world of branches. Other energy of panic. When are we going to perform better? When will anyone perform better? If you are to drive, or if you have to choose a driver to go from your place to another city, which driver will you choose? One who is in panic or one who enjoys driving? So here we are choosing a life, in one mindset or another. When we are in the mindset of this panic, we are inviting complications. We are already starting position itself is confusion and panic. Other option, starting position, is secure, clarity, and attitude of play. You are doing things, you are involved in it, and you are playing. When you are playing, attitude of play, you play to win. You work hard. You're very happy to. You are doing it with the enthusiasm and fun, but you also know how to fall. You also know how to start again. We have the option to come in that space. And this is like a small step. Every minute you are playing, even these ideas, they are playing. You are playing with these ideas, creating this 1 minute, play with it. And then you are coming in that space. We have the option to come in that space.
So nice to have the form of a story to get the visual side. One question that came up just now, is it a good attitude to think that the only reason I'm here is to play? Do you say?
One of the main reasons, the play, we have to bring in that energy, that attitude of play. Yes, I might not emphasize the only reason, but one of the reasons. As we go further up the spiral, we will understand deeper our purpose and the perspective, what this world is about.
The comment, they like the idea of playing to win because it means doing the best we can to fulfill the roles we've been assigned, but also being detached. In a sense, when it's a game or a play, we know the limitations and we know the context. That's just a comment. So I know we're coming to time, and it's really fascinating to have this concept of a mind that is free from insecurity. It's challenging the way that we perhaps have been brought up to think that we need some kind of fear to be motivated or driven, and we may use it to push ourselves some kind of insecurity, but this notion that it is not necessary, and with the attitude of security, we actually unlock a higher potential.
Yeah, that's nice. Just like when we are insecure, fear motivates people. When you are secure, enthusiasm and lightness and creativity, the fun, these are the factors. Just like the play. When you are playing, you are motivated. It is not with fear, but with different energy, enthusiasm. That motivates you. And that is healthy motivation.
So there's appreciation, and it'd be nice if you want to share any final reflections, sometimes a notional homework, something to focus and practice on. So if you have any final thoughts, comments before we close.
Yeah, I might encourage you to draw that sketch, of the invisible traveler and keep it in your main room so that you end up seeing it more often. And each time you are seeing it, that will be like a little experience, micro experiences. They are necessary for us. And you may write your words, some realizations, like say, traveler, guest, secure, whatever word that you feel is important in our discussion. Write those words. We need reminders, surprisingly. We may understand it, but something within us can also block it. We become busy with something else. Our situation is that when you cross the line, that situation is doesn't help us, to naturally. So introducing a certain routine, and program reminders, they are immensely useful. And from today, during these 7 days, that you use this whole time to gather that momentum. Not just these hours that we are together, but to reflect on this, write your notes, see, let it be. Some time is created to digest. Chewing the cud. Thank you.
Thank you. And if any questions do come up in the process, feel free to acknowledge them. You can bring them to the session or send them by email. I think you should have the email address here from registration in Zoom. So enjoy, and nice to know that we have a space which we are meeting tomorrow, and to know that there are others reflecting on these subjects. So enjoy this opportunity and look forward to connecting tomorrow. We're going to share some slides from a teacher that was also connected today, and she made a summary, so it'll be useful revision. And we'll meet again soon. Thank you.